Picture this. You're standing at the checkout counter, staring at a couple of price tags, and suddenly your brain just completely freezes. Trust me, it happens to the best of us. Take Amira, for instance. She's looking at a book for $4.75 and a really cool pencil case for $3.45. To figure out if she's got enough cash, she needs to know exactly how much she's spending altogether. And that real-world problem? Well, that's exactly what we're going to learn how to solve today.
Welcome to this explainer. I am so incredibly excited to have you here. Today, we're going to totally demystify how we add money, so you can confidently breeze through this kind of everyday math. Because, let's be real, whether you're budgeting your own allowance or just double-checking a store receipt, mastering column addition with money is a literal game changer. So let's just dive right in.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. Number 1, the basics of British money. 2, the golden rules of alignment. 3, simple column addition steps. 4, level up, carrying numbers. And 5, real-life money problems.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the basics of British money. So money is simply what we use to buy goods and services, right? Like Amira's book and pencil case. And here in the United Kingdom, our money is measured in two main units. We've got pounds, represented by that classic squiggly symbol, and pence, indicated by a simple lowercase p. When we write out an amount that includes both of these, we separate them with a decimal point. The pounds go on the left and the pence sit over on the right.
But here's the absolute core of it all, the conversion rate. 1 pound is exactly equal to 100 pence. So if you have 2 pounds, you have 200 pence. 5 pounds, 500 pence. It is a beautifully simple system, but keeping that specific relationship in the back of your mind is going to make adding things up so much more intuitive.
Which brings us to a crucial, golden rule whenever you are writing down money. Look at this pattern. 2 pounds and 50 pence is written as 2.50. 10 pounds and 25 pence is 10.25. See what's happening? There are always exactly 2 digits after the decimal point. Always. Even if you only have 5 pence, you have to write it as 0.05. Honestly, remembering this tiny little formatting trick is going to save you so many headaches later on.
Okay, moving on to Section 2, the golden rules of alignment.
This is absolutely crucial, so pay close attention. We have to understand the correct and incorrect ways to set up our math. On one hand, you have the right way. The decimal points are perfectly stacked right on top of each other. 4 pounds 50 directly over 3 pounds 25. But if you scatter those decimals and just misalign them, your math is going to be completely wrong. Why? Because you will accidentally start adding pounds to pence. It's like mixing apples and oranges. Always line up those decimal points, so pounds add to pounds and pence add to pence.
Now that we're perfectly aligned, let's hit Section 3, simple column addition steps.
Okay, time for our very first equation together. We are adding 4 pounds 25 pence and 3 pounds 12 pence. Notice how this looks exactly like the normal column addition you probably already know? We've drawn our line underneath, popped our plus sign on the left, and most importantly, those decimals are perfectly aligned, forming a straight, rigid vertical line right down the middle. Once your setup looks exactly like this, the hard part is honestly already over. From here, we just follow a simple recipe, and we always move from the right side over to the left side. Step 1, add the rightmost column, the pence. 5 plus 2 is 7, so we just write a 7 straight underneath. Step 2, shift left to the tenths column. 2 plus 1 equals 3, so drop a 3 right there. And crucially, at this exact point, we bring our decimal points straight down into the answer. Finally, step 3, move to the pounds column on the far left. 4 plus 3 is 7, so down goes a 7.
And that gives us our final answer of 7.37. But wait, we're not completely finished until we apply rule number 4. You have to include the pound sign in your answer. It is such an easy detail to forget, but a number just floating out there by itself isn't money until you confidently stick that symbol right in front of it. So, $7.37 it is.
All right, ready for Section 4? Level up, carrying numbers.
Let's look at our next challenge, 5 pounds 78 plus 2 pounds 46. We have our decimals perfectly lined up, right? But take a close look at that rightmost column. 8 plus 6. Well, that's going to be bigger than 9. So what exactly happens when the numbers get a bit too big for their boots?
It's actually super simple. Starting on the far right again, 8 plus 6 equals 14. Obviously, we can't cram a 14 into that single tiny space, so we write down the 4 and we carry that extra 1 over to the top of the next column on the left. Moving to step 2, we add the 7 plus the 4 plus that little 1 we just carried over. So 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 1 is 12. Again, we write down the 2, drop the decimal point straight down into our answer, and carry the 1 over to the pounds column. Finally, the pounds. 5 plus 2 plus our carried 1 equals 8.
And we lock in our final answer, 8 pounds 24, complete with the pound sign. You see, carrying is absolutely no big deal at all, as long as you stick to that right-to-left system and don't forget to add those little carried numbers as you go.
Let's put this into practice with Section 5, Real-Life Money Problems.
Let's imagine we're James for a second. James just bought a football for £12.50 and a water bottle for £4.25. How much did he spend in total? When you're standing at the sporting goods store, you need to be able to set this up in your head or just on a quick scrap of paper. You align the $12.50 directly over the $4.25, lock in those decimals, and start working right to left.
0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. Drop the decimal point. 2 plus 4 is 6. And 1 plus nothing is 1. Pop the pound sign on the front, and boom! James spent $16.75. By sticking to our strict alignment and addition rules, we solved that in seconds with zero stress.
Okay, let's try one more complex, real-world example that requires carrying, just to absolutely cement your newfound skills. Sophia bought a toy for $18.75 and a game for $22.45. What was her total cost? Try visualizing the steps right now. Align those decimals. Start from the far right. 5 plus 5 is 10, so write the 0, carry the 1.
You work your way across, making sure to add in those carried ones, and you'll find that Sophia's total comes out to exactly 41 pounds 20. When you lean on these structural rules, handling larger numbers and carrying in everyday life just becomes completely second nature. You won't even have to think about it.
So, to wrap this all up in a neat little bow, if you want to get this right every single time, just memorize this mini checklist. 1. Money is in pounds and pence. 2. Always line up your decimal points so the pounds stack on the pounds and the pence stack on the pence. 3. Add from right to left. 4. Carry your digits to the next column when the total is 10 or more. And 5. Never forget to write that pound sign in your final answer.
Now, before we close out this explainer, I've got one final massive challenge for you. 750 pounds and 85 pence plus 149 pounds and 27 pence. I am absolutely not giving you the answer to this one. Grab a piece of paper, line up those decimals, and see if you can crack it yourself. Because mastering this, it means you have the power to handle your own finances with total confidence. Thanks for joining me today, and keep practicing those brilliant math skills out there in the real world.